Covered with Cooking with Sean Kennedy. These two canisters are enough fast fluid to keep one person sustained for about a day. So with both of these and this pack and the water, you've got enough food here for 2 days. So with nothing else, no external source, you wake up in a desert. You've got enough food here, providing, you know, heat loss and all the rest of it, but you can stay alive for at least 2 days fairly comfortably. If you need to stretch that out, I think there's, I can't remember how many calories are in one of these packs, but it's designed for a fighting soldier. So this is a meal where you're going to be spending a lot of energy. Inside the bag, the first thing you want to be able to get at is some reading material. I always like to read up on suppressed science, things like that, so I recommend looking at more non-fiction than fiction, but in a lot of fiction authors, like everyone knows I'm a Robert Heinlein fan, things like that, make sure you're learning something. Don't read garbage. Put good things into your mind. So you got some reading material. That should be readily accessible because, again, you should be pretty bored at work. If you're not bored at work, get a job where you're bored so you can use that time to your advantage. Also, you're probably going to get cold. So rather than having a sweater, I keep a fleece vest inside my bag here, and it's also handy in case you need to change, change your look really quickly. It's an instant disguise. I'm wearing a black shirt, but if I was wearing any other color, this thing here zips up, kind of makes you look, well, changes your look, you know, right off the top. It's easy, warm, convenient, no problems. Going back down to the bag here, what do we got? Well, we got a variety of little things that you'd need. I highly recommend always having some sort of a music player. I can't recommend any particular music player, so I'm recommending an obsolete Panasonic tape player that's waterproof. Tape players like these ones here were the big rage back in the late 80s, early 90s, and they made them all waterproof for joggers and everything like that. I think they're great. Inside, of course, you just run your tape through your media out into an audio in on any cassette player, and you can make your own tapes out of MP3 players. You get an hour and a half worth of music that won't die on you, and if the tape breaks and the whole thing's lost, whatever, you can replace the whole works for about $9 at a secondhand store. So it's a pretty handy way to go. As well, you get a radio here, as well as comms. Now you've got a radio here, but it's not really designed as a radio. You've got a good set of headphones that, you know, are fairly comfortable. You can wear a hat with, and I keep myself a little Grundig shortwave radio in here as well. You can never have too many radios. You always got to make sure that you're not isolated. You got to know what's going on around you. People are broadcasting news all the time. You got to stay current. As well, we've got our laptop accoutrements and replica media. Now this is never ever do you carry original media with you. If ever you are out anywhere, you want to make sure you never have original discs with you. You always want to have copies because software will be stolen. People can seize it, people can take it from you, what have you. You want to make sure that you can lose the software, give the software, share the software in case you run across somebody who needs it. Information should be free. Make it free, give it away. I always keep a coffee mug handy to have. I usually go with a stainless variety because you always kick these things around. You've got a way for you to put your hot water in, make your coffee. A couple extra boot bands to lock things together. Inside, we've got, you know, your standard stuff, your Wi-Fi card, the floppy disk drive case, usual, everything, because people always think about the laptop. Look at my laptop case. Well, how much stuff can you carry in that laptop case other than the laptop? Not much. Well, it's pretty much useless then, isn't it? Because the cool thing about a laptop is the fact that you're mobile. And once you're mobile, you're able to set up an entire office somewhere, but they want you to set up an entire office with just one laptop? No. No matter how fast Bluetooth gets, there's always going to be external devices you have to attach, so you need a larger bag. The current laptop applications, these laptop bags they're using, they're garbage. No one's thinking things through. They're not looking at all the technology. They just want to buy, if you buy our, you know, Panashiba laptop and you buy all Panashiba parts, it'll fit in our Panashiba bag. Well, that's no good for the WOGs. WOGs have got to be able to mix and match whatever they need to get the job done. As well, I always am a big old-fashioned fan of hard data. This is an aluminum case where I keep graph paper, notepads, any ideas. You want to make sure you got ink with you so in case you need to write things down. Sometimes, I'm a big fan of computers, as everyone knows. I love digital media. I think it's great, but you just can't beat paper. You really can't. Putting pen to paper is one of the most, it's almost a spiritual thing to do. I think it's a fantastic thing to do, and artists will tell you there's a lot of artists who won't go digital because they lose that experience of actually physically creating something. And having a notepad with you is always great, especially with graph paper. There's a billion and one uses. Any role player knows that eventually, after making a billion notes, graph paper is the way to go. So I recommend that. One of these units, these are expensive. You can get some tactical ones that are pretty high speed from Canadian Peacekeeper. They make what they call junior general kits, and they have pen cases and everything like that. I liked it because this is hard and it keeps your data essentially safe. With the softer cases, they're a little bit more bulky, and I wanted to kind of slim things down. And of course, last but not least, you want to keep sure you keep your Prosium case. I always go with a larger Prosium case with extra Prosium in the side in case you have to deal with mass dosage, anything like that. The rest of the case on the inside is pretty much straightforward. It does come with plastic trauma panels on the side, which is added protection, as well as on the bottom. That's added protection for any sensitive electronics you keep in the bag. As well on the top, you got space here for extra batteries batteries, chargers, docking stations, a radio, and in work I always keep a very, very thin thermaline toque. Toques are an awesome tool. 80% of all of your body heat is lost through your head. Most people don't realize that. Being Canadian, you know, everyone's, you know, nice toque. But toques, I'm here to tell you, if you've never had a good toque, they're gold. They're gold. They keep you warm, keep your head perfect. Like, you can make a difference in your body temperature just with one little toque. Of course, I don't have a mirror, so I'm probably screwing this up. Now, with the vest and toque on, all I gotta do is shed my glasses, and I look completely different. Look like a normal everyday guy. I'd run down the street. Hi there. How you doing? Looking good. See? Very, very easy to disguise yourself with just a toque. Excellent. So this concludes my lecture concerning the work bag. My name is Sean Kennedy, and I am the fucking man. Time has come for us to make wog food. Wog food, of course, is a staple of the wog diet. This is something quick, cheap, and easy that anyone can make. Speed is of the essence because you have better things to do with your time. For example, you may only have a few moments until the next level loads. So, you want to be able to come out here, make yourself some food really fast, and get back to what you were doing. After all, wog food is more fuel than food, but it makes the pain stop and is a healthy alternative to a lot of other rapid meals that could occur. So let's go over to some of the stuff that we got here. Wog food has to be very simple and quick to make because wogs don't have to waste a lot of time. You're going to need yourself a rice cooker. You're going to need a 2-cup measuring cup, a 1-cup measuring cup, rice of choice. Now, when it comes to rice, we'll get a little bit more detail, but you got to get the right kind of rice. You need some generic salsa, and I highly recommend Yives ground rice. Why? Well, this is not really meat. It's just it's a soy protein meat, and I think it's a pretty neat creation. Also, it happens to work really well with what we're making here. So I picked that up. I think it's pretty good, and you can generally eat. This is about 1 day's worth of food. Is what I'm going to make here. Especially if you come down off the fast, you got to break the fast properly. You got to make sure you go into the vegetable soups and stuff like that. You follow the directions from the Master Cleanser very, very carefully. But after that, you kind of want to get something a little bit hot, something that tastes a little better into your system. And wog food is a really nice way to segue back to a diet of your choosing. So the way this starts is, of course, you've got a few moments. The pain stops. You want to eat right now. The problem is you're not going to be able to eat right now. You can prep and then distract yourself for about 20 minutes. To make wog food, you take your 2-cup measuring cup. Get your water in there so you don't have to mess around too much. Just fill it up. Dump that into your rice cooker. No problem. Then, of course, most rice goes 2 to 1. Now, with rice, you want to go with a brown rice as natural as you can get it. Try not to get anything that's been bleached or anything like that. I highly recommend going to an organic food store, getting yourself some organic rice, and making it happen. The only downside about rice is you really can't eat it raw, so I can't feed the stuff I spill to my dog, but that's okay. You take your 1 cup of rice, dump that in there, take your extras, and go in there too. Turn on your rice cooker, walk away. Now that 20 minutes have passed, we're prepared to complete the rest of the wog food. Take the ground round. You open it. Best way to open it is on 3 sides. 1, 2, 3. Take the lid off your rice cooker. In goes the ground round. Top of the ground round, the scraps in there. Salsa in there as well. Less dishes to watch out. You can keep the jars because the jars are very useful. Salsa jars are one of those kind of things that you can put just any number of items in. Now the salsa mixes with the ground round and the rice. Now, of course, the salsa and the ground round are cold, but this rice has just finished being made, so it's really, really hot. Too hot to eat. So by the miracle of modern science and much trial and error, I've discovered that the actual cold salsa and cold ground round, when mixed with the hot brown rice, is the perfect temperature to eat. And you don't have to subject it to any sort of harmful microwave radiation or anything like that. After you get a good mix in there, mix it all up inside the container, get it all up, and you have a perfectly good batch of wog food. Something that does have, some people add garlic to it. From here, this is your basic, okay? You can understand some people, oh, I put green peppers with that, I do this, I do that. You bet. But this is your base. This is where you start from. You can use this inside of sandwiches, you can make wraps out of it, or you can do what I do, which is I just load the whole works into my bowl, and I go from there.